Okay, welcome back. So today I thought that I would cover what I do for oiling my Chogan handle. Okay, so what I'm currently doing is using linseed oil, boiled linseed oil. Okay, it's not very expensive, this stuff. And you don't need much of it when you're oiling your stick. So this was initially sanded down and made to fit the head of the Chogan here. Okay, was made to fit the head of the Chogan tomahawk perfectly. All right, and then what I've done is been using the linseed oil here, boiled linseed oil, and applying it once a week. So I'm up to the fourth week now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I apply it, and for those that don't know. So this is what she's looking like at the moment. Very, very nice, and the grains are really starting to come out. Okay, so I normally do this I've been doing it every, say, Saturday or Sunday, once a week. The first two applications, after I applied it in, I'd get a very fine sandpaper and actually sand it in, sand down once I've applied the oil, and let it dry. So I did that for the first 2 weeks, and then on the third week I just applied linseed oil on its own, like I'm going to do now. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is just get your linseed oil. I just tip it upside down into the, so it's actually touching the cap. Then I take the cap off. It's got like a childproof lock on it, and flip it over. And what I do is inside the cap here, I just use the oil that's in there, okay, to do this. So the first thing I do is, well, for the cotton bud part, I get a little cotton bud and I dab it in to the bottle here, okay, and where I've drilled a hole here for the lanyard, okay, or your string or cordage or whatever you want to use, I just use the cotton bud here to get into that lanyard hole, okay, and I just move it around just to soak that part up. You don't need much. Okay, just to soak that in there a bit. Alright, and plonk that to the side. The next thing I do is I just dab my finger into the cap here. Okay, just get a little bit of linseed oil on the end here. Okay, and then what you do is you just apply it with your finger, and before I actually do this, I actually go and wash my hands and get all the oil, body oil off the hands. Okay, and you apply it in here. You can see it applies quite far. Okay, it actually just a little bit goes a long way with this stuff. You give it a nice coat, alright, and you want to try and get that coat as far up onto the handle as you possibly can. Just going to get another little dab here. I'm just going to go on the other, apply it on the other side. Okay, so both sides should have the same amount applied. And what we're doing is, when you apply it in this manner, it's a lot better because you're only applying a little bit at a time, okay, like a really, really thin layer, and then you're giving it a week to dry, okay, and then after that week you've got the opportunity of checking to see if you want to stop. Okay, so the more linseed oil that you put on, the darker the wood is going to become. Okay, and so some people would say the more coats that you apply, the darker it's going to be, but that's also the amount you apply is going to mean the coats are going to get darker as well. So what you want to do is you just want to, if you really want to control how dark you or light you have your wood, then a very, very light coat is the way to go. Okay, because the whole idea is not really to saturate your wood. Okay, you don't want to saturate it. We're just trying to protect it with a fine coat that will, obviously some of it will actually sink in to the wood, okay, to help with the waterproofing and the protection. But the whole idea is to, when you do like light coats, it's going to do that anyway, you know. It's going to protect it. Alright. And so that's about it. Alright, these just work it in with the fingers. You don't need gloves with this stuff, you know. You really don't. Okay, so that was probably what, two just fingertip, you know, into the middle part there to cover this whole tomahawk handle. Okay, and that's all you need to do. So here's what she's looking like after I've just done that. You can see that nice shine. You know, obviously the shine will disappear once it soaks in. Okay, and that's about it. So what I normally do after I've done this, put the lid back on to our oil, because we don't want somebody knocking it over accidentally. Okay, and so that's why this will last a long time if it's done like so. And then what I do is I just get myself a coat hanger here. Alright, slide it through your lanyard hole. Okay, and then what I normally do is I will come back a little bit. What I do now is I take this in and I place it into the wardrobe, okay, somewhere out of the sunlight, okay, and I'll put this, hang this top part here over one thing in the somewhere in the wardrobe, and this other part here, hang it over that part and just let it dangle there. Alright, so just hang it up somewhere away from where other people will try and touch it and tutu with it, and away from the sunlight. Okay, so this is the 4th week that I've done this now, and apart from the first 2 weeks, as I said, after I've done this part, I'd get a very light sandpaper and I'd sand all that oil into the wood, okay, and that would fill in any gaps, very minute gaps in the wood. But the 3rd week and obviously the 4th week today, I'm just applying oil. So I'll probably do this for maybe another 3 to 4 weeks, and I'll see what the colour light is coming up, and that should do the job there. So just for those that don't know or wanting to do modifications on their tomahawk, that's how we do it. Okay, anyway, thanks for coming along, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers, bye bye.